Actually, this was always Carlos's dream, to have his own restaurant. And so when we found this location 20 years ago, I said to Carlos, if we're going to do it, let's do it. It's a lifestyle. When you come to our restaurant, you are invited in our home, and we want you to feel that comfortable. I like to make sure that I see what's going on at the table, and I like to know what the customer wants before he knows what he wants or might want. It's basically global. I would say that it's contemporary French.
So Lynn, you say that Carlos is worth every penny. Tell us why you think so.
I think Carlos is the greatest place on earth. I think he's in a class all itself.
Wow, do you like it?
I love it. You know, as I mentioned to you guys earlier, I live in the city, I work in the city, and I'm a mom. So when it comes time to going out to dinner, I don't travel because I don't have to. There's a lot of good restaurants in the city. Carlos is absolutely the exception. It's one of the few places that I will get in my butt and drive out because it's so well worth it when I get there. And let's face it, it's not cheap. I mean, it's an upscale, expensive restaurant, which is probably why I love it so much. But I always feel like I get great value.
Okay, what about for you, BJ? Did you enjoy your experience there?
I had the food there was absolutely delicious. It was a wonderful time. It was extremely pricey though, you know. And granted, you know, it's an upscale restaurant, and you know, but for instance, my girlfriend got. She was with me, and she got like a little vegetable platter, which was like $38. And there was 4 little trays with vegetables on something about the size of a quarter, you know. And then she got like a $17 salad that consisted of 4 slices of beets with 2 pecans and 2 wheels of goat cheese, which are about the size of a quarter again. It was extremely pricey, you know. And again, if you have the disposable income for that, you know, and you can afford to go there regularly, I highly recommend it. You know, I plan on going back again. You know, when I own a house that I can take out a second mortgage on.
I mean, what do you think about the service there? I think you had a good time when you were at the restaurant.
Yeah, I'm really, really picky when service is the topic. That makes me insane.
Me too.
Because are you? I'm
yeah.
so picky, and I thought that the service was impeccable.
Right.
I really did. I was there with a large group of people, and I know that we had a lot of wine. The wine list there is like unreal, and it was we were not an easy table, and they had no idea that I'm coming on the show. What's that?
What makes you not easy? What makes you not an easy table?
Because we're like drunk fools, or at least we probably were that night after being there for a couple of hours. But I agree. Actually, with you, BJ, I think that it was very expensive.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's interesting because I agree with all your points. When you go to more of an upscale restaurant, it like almost the floodgates for being very critical of service because you're paying a lot of money. And there's so many times I go to those kind of restaurants and I'm thinking, this is good, but I cannot believe when I'm paying for the appetizer.
Right.
And I think about that, and I can't enjoy the
Aggravated.
meal because I'm thinking the glass of wine's $15.
Right.
But what is so interesting is I throw that out the window when I go to Carlos. I think they're unbelievably accommodating. They even have degustation if I wanted to eat that much for vegetarian. I mean, it's
That's
just,
great.
it's, you know, sometimes you go to those restaurants and you feel like you can't really have what you want because you're being a little high maintenance and it's a fancy
Now, as a
restaurant.
vegetarian, when you go out sometimes, do you feel kind of cheated? Do you feel, some people do feel that way. They go to a restaurant, they look at a menu, and especially in a city like Chicago, where it's very, very like meat-oriented, where they feel kind of like gypped when they go out, that you can't.
You know what? I really don't nowadays. If you would have asked me, I've been a vegetarian for, I don't know, maybe 15 years. If you would have asked me way back when, probably, and my family thought I was a freak, and a lot of bad things were happening then. But I think it's more socially
Like, what do you mean
acceptable.
you're a vegetarian?
No, I mean, I'm Armenian, and I think a lot of people did, were eating all the good lamb and everything like that, and I didn't want the lamb, and that was a big deal. But I think we've come a long way, and I think the restaurants I go to now, it's pretty accommodating. And I think one thing interesting about an upscale restaurant is, I don't know how you guys feel, but sometimes I go to these places, and you ever gone to one of those restaurants and you feel like you have to start whispering? Like, oh, yeah. And one thing about Carlos is that it's so unpretentious.
But see,
Did you get that feeling?
I was totally whispering.
You had to feel like you were whispering?
I was so whispering. You have no idea.
What were you saying?
we
Maybe you
we
couldn't
felt-
say it out loud, BJ.
We almost felt like the bad kids in class, 'cause we were
Really?
looking at things and I was just like, I have no idea what that is. I have no idea. Oh, there's a filet mignon. I know what that is. And and I was like I had no idea that John Dory was a fish.
Right.
So at first I was totally like kind of taken aback and just kind of being mellow, trying to take it in, understand where everything's coming from, and I walk in, and I used to work in a fine dining restaurant a long time ago, and but then they come out and they've all got the food covered, and they're like 1, 2, 3, voila,
2, 3, voila.
and you're just like, all right, that's a bit much, but whatever.
You're like, that's a vegetable the size of a quarter.
Yeah, exactly, and that's cool. They take pride in what they do. After the salads came out, one of the servers actually stopped by, and I think he realized that we felt out of place and stopped and chatted with us and really helped
nice.
warm it up.
That is
So
nice.
it was kind of icy at first, but then after a while it got a little more comfortable, and we stopped feeling like the bad kids that were talking in school,
Right.
and kind of loosened up. And I was trying to, at first I was having a hard time finding a way to get comfortable, and then finally I was okay. I
See,
can
you
do
came
this.
through.
It came through.
Yeah.
But Lynn, this is your favorite place. Why don't you give us a summary of it?
I would say that take the one you love, or love the one you're with. No. Take the
Could
one
you sing
love.
that for us?
Take the one you love, sit back, enjoy it, and you will have one heck of an experience, a dining experience.
Great. And BJ, for you?
Please go there. It's a wonderful time. The food is excellent, and again, you might seem like you're kind of out of place or whatever, but it's just you.
And Nate, from what you remember?
Thanks, Amanda. How rude. No, actually, it was. I remember enough to say that I would definitely go back. I mean, to me, certain restaurants I think are special, and I mean, I would feel ridiculous eating there every night because it's just too nice for that. But it definitely would be one of the restaurants, if I chose to leave the city, that I would go to for an occasion or a special evening. So.
Okay, well, you can go see Debbie and Carlos at Carlos Restaurant, 429 Temple Avenue in Highland Park, 847-432-0770. It's open 6 nights a week, dinner only, and it's closed on Tuesdays. The average tab is about $50 to $70 a person, and reservations are required here, and so is your jacket, so don't leave home without it.